Around this time last year, Kevin Roundtree, the CEO of Games Workshop, was like, well, investors, take a bit of a chill pill. We've got no new edition of Warhammer 40K coming out this year, so just kind of tamper down those expectations of revenue. Today, he's like, LOL, JK everybody, we made record revenue. And you know that Space Marine 2 game that did really well? That's our intellectual property, and we're going to go ahead and license a third one. Let's take a look at the past year of Games Workshop financial results and see what kind of interesting nuggets are hiding in this long document. I have no idea how Games Workshop keeps increasing revenue each year, but in the past financial year they made £565 million compared to the previous year where they made a little bit under £500 million. On the topic of licensing and Space Marine 2, we don't have an exact number as to how much money Games Workshop made off that game, but we can take a look at some past year reports and get a pretty good guess. Licensing revenue is the second line here. If we look back in 2022, they made £28 million. In 2023, it was down to about £25.4 million. In 2024, it was around £31 million, and then this year, with the launch of Space Marine 2, it jumped up to £52.5 million of licensing revenue. Given that the average licensing revenue was about £25 to £30 million each year, we can guess that Space Marine 2 probably brought Games Workshop somewhere between $20 to £30 million in revenue. And we have this report here from IGN from June of this year talking about how Space Marine 2 has sold approximately 7 million copies in less than a year, and that's why we're going to be seeing a Space Marine 3 in the not too distant future. Now, when it comes to figuring out just how good that is, sales numbers of video games are a bit sketchy. Sometimes they release them, sometimes they don't, sometimes they're estimated. But we can take a look at some other games from last year. This source claims that Elden Ring has sold about 30 million copies up to this point. It was one of the big games from last year. Wikipedia, I don't know where their source comes from in this case, but we can see that about 15 million players so far have gone ahead to join the fight for protecting democracy. And what is probably the biggest game of last year, the, 78th entry in this franchise. I can't actually get any real hard sales numbers to this, but it does end up on the top of sales charts according to various websites on the internet. 7 million copies for Space Marine 2 is pretty good. It doesn't put it in the absolute very top, but that makes it still a very successful game. Directly on the topic of licensing Space Marine 2, we have an entry here on page 4 of the report. Our core business was at the top of our operational plans. Licensing was a nice surprise, always difficult to predict. We thank our external partners for their exceptional performance too. It's worth noting that our licensing performance will be very difficult to match next year. Space Marine 2 performed well above our expectations. We will of course be focusing on more Warhammer 40,000 games and at the same time continuing to look for partners to bring our Age of Sigmar IP setting and characters to console, PC, and mobile. So there's just Games Workshop talking about how they were thrilled with the performance of Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine 2. We can see here on page 5 we have this entry here. The mass market presentation of the Warhammer 40,000 IP via the very popular animation Secret Level Episode 5 and They Shall Know No Fear, which that, by the way, was like an Amazon TV series. And the video game Space Marine 2 certainly helped us. We had more visitors to our own stores at that time, and we sold products related to our IP that appeared in the show and the game. Time will tell whether this was temporary. So what GW is saying here is that players found Space Marine 2 to be so much fun that they actually went into Games Workshop, or Warhammer stores for that matter, and they purchased some amount of maybe gaming miniatures or perhaps rule books and other gaming accessories to try out the tabletop version of Warhammer 40,000. Now what they're kind of concerned about is maybe this bump in new players is only a temporary thing, and perhaps next year there will be a bit of drop in revenue because there's not a massively successful video game coming out. Now, one kind of scandalous thing that's been dogging Games Workshop for the past few years is the issue of scalpers. They release some new product. It's usually a limited edition thing where there's only so many going to be available, and very quickly online they sell out, and then 30 seconds later they're on eBay, even though obviously nobody has them in hand yet, being sold for ridiculously elevated prices. Now, Games Workshop doesn't normally comment on these kind of things in their report, and unfortunately for all the Warhammer 40,000 and Age of Sigmar players, that is the case once again this year. On rare occasions, they do actually mention about some of the drama in the community, but it's exceptionally rare. I looked through the document, I searched for scalpers, eBay, resale, things, key terms like that, and I found no mention of this particular issue or the discussion about this issue right here. Now, despite all that, on page 6, we do see one comment here about manufacturing and stock levels that may just kind of be dancing around the issue of scalping just a little bit. Our central forecasting team has performed better this year. There is still some ongoing work to do to meet and ultimately beat our operational metrics on stock availability across all of our core IP ranges. The team is working collaboratively with our sales teams to ensure progress is made soon. They understand their key goal: always have the right product in the right place in the right quantities at the right time. Our 2 existing manufacturing sites, blah blah blah, performed well throughout the year. I'll let you guys decide if there's any meaning you can derive from that line about scalping. I want to take a quick break here. I know in the past few videos I've mentioned that my next crowdfunding campaign for my set of 3D printable Fractured Colony miniatures is launching really soon, and I'm truly serious about that. The holdup is because I'm spending too much time making the animations for the intro video that's really unnecessary. But seriously, very soon we're going to have the next set of Fractured Colony gaming miniatures available for crowdfunding, and you can head to the description down below to find a link to that crowdfunding project, or head over to fracturedcolony.com to find more information there. Alright, let's get back to see if there's any other interesting nuggets in this report. After you get past the initial numbers page, you run into something called the strategic report. This is written, I'm pretty sure, by Kevin Roundtree, the CEO, and it's like an introduction to Games Workshop and what they're planning to do in the short term. And it is basically a way of conveying to their existing stockholders what their plan is for the past year and what they're planning to do next year. But it's also a bit of marketing to potential investors who may be interested in purchasing Games Workshop stock. There is one line in this report up at the top that, I don't know, maybe in the UK you can get away with this, but this would be a horrible taboo thing in the United States. We read, the first element is that we make high quality miniatures. We understand that what we make may not appeal to everyone, so to recruit and retain customers, we are absolutely focused on making our models the best in the world. The reason why I say that's kind of taboo in the United States is companies are so focused on growth to the point where they can kind of destroy themselves a little bit. If you're familiar with the website Etsy, it used to be, it kind of still is, a bit of a art show for the internet where you could kind of buy some boutique handmade gifts, and then the company went public and they wanted to make a lot more money, and well, it's become a whole lot of like drop shipping operations for printed t-shirts, and you get a lot of people selling this adorable picture of a cat pushing Van Gogh flowers off the edge of a desk. Essentially, the website kind of became a bit of a discount Temu, and they've made a lot of their original sellers or old school sellers in Etsy a bit upset because they tried to expand a website beyond its original design, and it hasn't been going super well for them. One kind of positive way to look at this one line here is if you think about last year, you had that whole fiasco with the female custodies thing where they mentioned it in one of the books. Everybody kind of got upset. Games Workshop was like, well, they were always here the entire time, when clearly they weren't. And I wonder if this is a bit of a slight backtrack. Now, they're probably not going to go back and retcon the retcon, but you know, maybe they're just going to go ahead and be willing to admit that if they create female Space Marines, it's not going to somehow make Warhammer 40,000 magically appeal to the women in the world, and that therefore you're not going to actually just get massive sales numbers increased. And the reality is, if you do that, you're just going to tick off your existing fan base. Once again, I may be reading a bit too much into that though. One thing I've always wondered when it comes to Games Workshop business model, Is the increase in revenue from actually more sales, or is it just them raising prices year after year? Because we never really get any sort of actual sales numbers, but this year we did get a bit of an answer, and we can find it on page 4 of the report. We once again have designed, made, and sold in record quantities the best fantasy miniatures in the world. We delivered year-on-year sales growth once again in all of our core established countries, and the organic growth via our export team to places globally was impressive too. So based on this line here, we can kind of assume, because of last year they sold a record amount of fantasy miniatures, that they're indeed making more money because they're selling more products and not necessarily because things cost twice as much as they do now compared to 20 years ago. Actually, some are probably a lot more than that. But irregardless, we kind of have a bit of an answer. And one of the long ongoing sagas of the past few years when it comes to Warhammer 40,000 is, of course, the Amazon TV show. And we got another mostly useless update here because we already knew this stuff, but here's what they have to say. This is from page 8 of the report. On 10th of December 2024, we announced the conclusions of our negotiations with Amazon for the adaptation of Games Workshop's Warhammer 40,000 universe into films and television series, together with the associated merchandising rights. The project continues in line with our contractual agreement with Amazon. The same contract prohibits us from sharing any specific details or commercial terms. We have great partners who continue to display their commitment to present Warhammer authentically and at the scope and scale benefiting our fantastical setting. This is a long-term partnership with Amazon, and there won't be any significant news in the short term. These things take several years to bring to market. If you're hoping we're going to see something about the Warhammer 40,000 TV show this year, probably not. Anyway, thank you guys all for watching this review of Games Workshop's financial report last year. I probably should mention at this point that I am not a financial advisor, and this is not a financial advice. I just like to dive into this thing to have some fun, to see if there's any interesting nuggets in here. There usually isn't, but every now and then there's something that's kind of funny they mention. So once again, you can head over to fracturedcolony.com to check out more information on my upcoming crowdfunding project for my next set of 3D printable Fractured Colony gaming miniatures. All right, I'm Jason, the creator of the Tabletop Battlefield. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys all next time.